back. And then again, the markets saw a volatile day of trade with buying action during the fag end, pushing up the indices. Now, earnings season featured prominently in the movements as Nifty reclaimed the 5,700 levels. Let's take a look at the movers and shakers on D Street today.
It was a positive day of trade for the Lal Street, but this only came in after the markets witnessed selling pressure in the first half of trade. The Nifty did below that 5650 mark and then did a sharp U-turn from then the last hour of trade to end the day at 5711, up about 20 odd points. Breadth of the market was nothing special. Volumes were also fairly low, but in terms of broader markets, the gains were being led by the frontline and the mid-cap stocks. In terms of the Nifty movers, Jindal Steel gained about 2.5%, so one of the top gainers coming in on the Nifty. Bajaj Auto was off about 2 odd percent, despite the fact that the company has posted a good set of numbers, but margins remain a pressure. So on back of that, the stock continues to look weak. Reliance Communication gained about 2 odd percent, while Reliance Industries lost just about 1% odd ahead of its numbers tomorrow. Talking about the various sectors, a very mixed trend emerging in terms of sectors. Earnings optimism continues to drive the banking space. All banking stocks ended the day on a positive note. iBank was up about 2.5%. HDFC Bank gained about 2 odd percent. Kotak Mahindra Bank reported a good set of numbers. The stock was up 1.5%, and Yes Bank numbers came in also very strong. The stock gaining just over 1 odd percent. Talking about the other sectors, sugar space also witnessed buying action. So the likes of Balrampur Chini, Dwarikesh Unica Sugars and KM Sugars were the top gainers in terms of volume in the sugar space. Moving on from the sugar stocks, it's another sector that I quickly want to mention, and this is of course the oil and gas sector. This actually limited the kind of gains that you could have possibly seen on the Lal Street today. GIL was up 3.5% on back of disappointing numbers. HPCL, ONGC and BPCL were amongst the other losers coming through from the oil and gas index. There are a few people calling it the Jayapal Reddy effects on back of the change in portfolio of the oil and gas sector. There is a bit of nervousness that continues to weigh on the space. In terms of the mid-cap space, multimedia was off about 79 odd percent, as the stock will now trade ex-entitlement from today. Tata Coffee continues to gain 6 odd percent after it struck that alliance with Starbucks. HCL Infosystems lost about 5 odd percent after it sold a loss-making unit, but on a disclosed amount. SKS Microfinance gained about 4 odd percent on back of specific news of the microfinance sector. So all in all, a positive day of trade, but what's going to be important is where we go from here on, and earnings will continue to drive the sentiment on the Lal Street.
And finally, having encountered some turbulence back in September 2009 with regard to employee relations, the management of the country's largest private air carrier, Jet Airways, is employing new and novel ideas. Take a look.
The country's aviation space was thrown out of gear in the autumn of 2009, all because an HR call by Jet Airways went wrong. In retaliation, over 1,000 jet pilots and flight crew members reported sick and brought the company to a standstill. The management decided that a new policy for internal customers, the staff, was needed. And what better than theatre?
Did I? What I meant was quite different, utterly different, entirely different, as different as chalk from cheese.
These performers are not trained artists, but amateurs, and are engineers, management staff, pilots, cabin crew and accountants of the company.
All began when about 1.5 years ago, I think you remember the episode of my father, Naresh Goyal, when he took back his stuff. You know, I remember those words. Nivan and I, who's my brother, and I, we were in London. And my father turned around and said, you know, they are my family and I want to take them back. Those words, they are my family, strung a chord in my heart. Because I then said that, you know, I'm obviously a part of this family and I need to, you know, shoulder my father.
Designed to break the ice between the ranks, senior management is only too impressed with this initiative.
It's working very well, sending a lot of message. It shows there is so much talent in the company that we need to use and get the best potential which is available.
It's a case of drama to the rescue. But will the Stage Act resolve employees' retention and satisfaction concerns? Well, the jury is still out. In Chennai, with Ashmit Kumar, this is Zoya Thomas for NDTV Hindu.
Well, the olive ridley season is upon us, and the nature lovers are again trying their best to save as many hatchlings as they can on our beaches. Well, we tell you how corporates seem to have taken an interest this time in conservation efforts and are pitching in to do their part. Let's take a look.
Watch those tiny limbs trying to push forward. It's a wonderful life, isn't it? When thousands of olive ridley hatchlings attempt to make that break for the waves till March this year along Chennai's coastline. But often only 1 in 1,000 make the journey from the embryo to a tiny turtle cresting the waves. And to ensure better survival ratio, turtle walks by environmental groups is standard during the season.
To save the turtle, that is the main objective. So we are not looking for the funding part of it. So we are trying to create awareness and we are trying to save the turtle.
Now conservation efforts get corporate aid as well, such as William Lee, which is organizing a turtle walk as part of its corporate social responsibility or CSR goals. Lee, Greenpeace, Tree Foundation and E-Zone will organize turtle monitoring walks starting from February.
As a part of our top-notch talent recognition, which we call the Exceptionals, the one award is devoted to a unique idea on corporate social responsibility, and we picked up marine life focusing on the olive ridley turtle, given that it's one of the highly endangered species and specific to Chennai.
The eggs that are found by volunteers will be handed over to hatcheries and the newborn turtles will be released into the sea within 45 days. These IT company employees are ready to pitch in. They will be up and walking come February for the olive ridleys. What about you? In Chennai, Kuku Alex for NDTV Hindu.
Well, Mylapore, one of the oldest places in Chennai, boasts of heritage, art, tradition and religious harmony. No wonder that it has a festival of its own. What began as a simple kolam contest in 2001 has now grown into a Mylapore festival. We leave you with these scenic visuals of this year's festival. Thanks for watching.